Hey, if your shoulder clicks, grinds, or pinches when you press overhead and you start thinking that you can't train shoulders anymore, the good news is you don't have to stop lifting. You just need to change how you do it. Today I'm going to show you how I train shoulders even with osteoarthritis. I'll cover how to press, how to build your side delts, and how to hit your rear delts, all without feeding into the irritation. Before we get into the main lifts, we're going to do a quick warm-up. The warm-up doesn't need to take long, but it is super important to activate the muscles that are going to help keep the ball centered. I'm using a light band and we'll do 1 to 2 sets of 20 of band pull-aparts and diagonal raises. For the pull-aparts, you'll have a slight bend in your elbows, but you're going to keep your arms stiff. The diagonal raises, you'll raise your arm up at an angle like you're doing a single arm Y raise. By doing these, we're warming up in the directions that we're about to train. Now that we're done with our warm-ups, we're going to get into our main lift. And the first one we're going to do is overhead press. Now, traditional shoulder presses with your arms out wide like this really put your shoulders in a vulnerable position, especially if it keeps pressing the ball upward in the joint. So instead, I prefer alternating landmine presses or neutral grip dumbbell presses, where your hands are slightly in front of you and within your peripheral vision. For the landmine alternating press, you're going to start with the landmine on one side. The side that the landmine is on is going to be your pressing side. Before you press, you're going to set your shoulder. You're going to drop your shoulder blade down and slightly back. You will press up without letting your elbow wing out and come down on the other side. You should not feel any grinding or pinching with this. The other press is the neutral grip dumbbell press, where your palms are going to be facing each other. For the neutral grip dumbbell press, start with a light weight. Your arms will be bent at about 90 degrees in front of you. You're going to make sure that the dumbbell, your wrist, and your elbow are all in a straight line with each other. If you're looking in the mirror, you should see the butt end, the dumbbell. Set your shoulder in place and press up as high as you can without any pain or pinching or shrugging. If you're unable to do this with both hands, try doing alternating and doing one side at a time. If you can't fully extend without irritation, stop just before it starts hurting. We're going to be building strength in the range of motion that you can do without pain. That small angle change makes a huge difference. There'll be less compression and more muscle. Then we'll move on to lateral raises. The lateral head of your shoulder gives you that rounded shoulder look, but it can also aggravate your shoulder if they're not done correctly. You've probably heard the cue, pour the pitcher or pinkies up when it comes to lateral raises. That internally rotates your shoulder and closes the joint space. Here's what I do instead. Move your arms about 30 degrees forward into the scapular plane. You'll have a slight bend in your elbows. Your palms will be facing down or your thumbs could be slightly up. As you raise your arms up, think about pushing outward like you're touching the walls. Keep your hands in your peripheral vision. Are you noticing a pattern here? Lift about shoulder height. You don't need to pass your shoulders. Lower with full control. Don't just let the weight drop down and then raise right back up. When you shift into this plane, you clear space in the joint and you can really train your side delts hard. So funny story, I had a torn labrum for years. I was putting off surgery and lateral raises was the only thing that did not bother my shoulders. After I finally got surgery, that was the only exercise that did bother my shoulders. Now I changed the angle and I don't have any issues doing lateral raises. Our shoulder workout would not be complete without hitting our rear delts. Our rear delts are one of the most neglected and hard to isolate muscles because the traps like to take over and do all the work. When our rear delts are weak, our shoulders tend to drift forward, which makes everything else less stable. For this, we're doing a reverse fly variation. We're pulling down at an angle and our hand is not going to pass our body. I'm doing this exercise with a band, but you can also do it with a cable. Just keep the weight light. You're going to stretch your arm across the front of you, up towards your face. You're going to then set your shoulder. You're going to keep your arms stiff and pull down at an angle using your rear delts. This does not need to be a big movement. Don't let your hand pass your body. Again, keeping it in your peripheral vision. This helps prevent pinching and your traps taking over, and you should feel your rear delts firing up. When I was a kid, I was a small, scrawny toothpick kid, and I always wanted to have nice rounded shoulders and shapely arms like Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. And I pushed it hard, and I fought my shoulder flare ups for years. And then I had surgery for the torn labrum, only to end up with osteoarthritis. I thought for sure I wasn't going to be able to train shoulders, let alone figure out how I was supposed to demonstrate exercises for people. But then I realized I just need to change the way I work out. There are so many ways you could work a muscle or a muscle group for your body, your needs. I still train shoulders. I no longer push through the pain. I work in the range of motions that I can without pain. Pushing through bad mechanics just makes things worse. Arthritis doesn't have to mean you're done lifting. It means you train smarter. If you stop lifting, you lose muscle. If you lose muscle, your joints have less support. That's when things get worse. I still challenge my muscles, still push my body without pain. I just don't train the way I used to. And neither should you. If your goal is to build muscle and stay independent long term, even with limitations, this channel's for you. We don't train like we're fragile. We don't push through the pain. We don't avoid hard work here. We just do it correctly. See you on the next one.